In the shadowed cradle of American history, where the threads of fate first tangle in the loom of existence, Abraham Lincoln entered the world on February 12, 1809, in a remote Kentucky cabin, the second-born child of a frontier family scraping life from the unforgiving soil. This was no ordinary birth. It marked the ignition of a soul destined to wrestle with the chains of a divided nation, a genetic echo of Marfan syndrome already whispering through his elongated frame, hinting at the burdens he would carry like an invisible yoke. Lincoln's essence, forged in poverty and isolation, absorbed the raw pulse of the land itself, preparing him for a role that would echo across the centuries, as if the universe scripted his arrival to balance scales yet to tip. Precisely 100 years and mere days later, on May 29, 1917, in the affluent enclave of Brookline, Massachusetts, John Fitzgerald Kennedy burst forth as the second-born in his lineage, his tiny form afflicted from the outset with Addison's disease and celiac frailties, genetic specters that would shadow his every step like silent guardians or perhaps jailers of a predetermined path. Kennedy's world was one of privilege, yet laced with the same profound undercurrents of struggle, his blue-blooded veins carrying the weight of ancestral ambitions that mirrored Lincoln's humble grit. These parallel afflictions, these mirrored positions in birth order, were no accidents. They formed the foundational code of a reincarnated archetype, a soul looping back through time to confront the same dragons in a new guise, the matrix of history replaying its opening sequence with eerie precision. As these two vessels matured, their early lives wove subtle synchronicities that betrayed the grand design. Lincoln, self-taught and voracious, devoured books by lamplight, his mind expanding like the Mississippi he would one day bridge, while young Jack Kennedy, surrounded by tomes in Hyannisport, echoed this intellectual hunger, quoting Shakespeare and scripture with the same rhythmic eloquence that would later define their oratory. Both men, in their formative years, captained vessels. Lincoln on flatboats navigating perilous rivers, Kennedy in the choppy waters of naval command, symbolizing their innate command over chaos, a premonition of steering the ship of state through tempests yet to come. These embryonic parallels, separated by a century's veil, pulsed with the rhythm of a cosmic heartbeat, signaling that the universe, in its simulated splendor, had cued the same script for rerun, binding their fates in an unbreakable loop of reincarnation and repetition. The year 1846 dawned like a harbinger, its numerals a cryptic code etched into the calendar of destiny, when Abraham Lincoln, at the age of 37, ascended to the U.S. House of Representatives from Illinois, his election a thunderclap against the backdrop of brewing sectional strife. Elected on August 3rd amid whispers of war and reform, Lincoln's congressional tenure became a crucible where he honed his abolitionist blade against the peculiar institution, railing against the Mexican-American War's expansionist sins in speeches that echoed like prophecies. This entry into national service was the first ripple in a pond that would soon tsunami into civil cataclysm. His 7-letter surname Lincoln, a numeric talisman, counting the syllables of fate as precisely as the stars chart a course. Fast forward exactly 100 years to the smoke-choked aftermath of World War II, and 1946 unfurled its identical digits like a deliberate echo, propelling 29-year-old John F. Kennedy into the same congressional arena, victorious in Massachusetts' 11th District on November 5th. Kennedy's campaign, fueled by his naval heroism and patrician charm, mirrored Lincoln's improbable rise from log cabin to lectern, his addresses laced with the same Shakespearean flair and biblical fire that would galvanize a post-war populace hungering for moral renewal. The 7 letters in Kennedy aligned flawlessly with Lincoln's, a geometric harmony suggesting not mere chance but a programmed symmetry where the Matrix replayed the congressional initiation scene, casting the same actor in a sepia-toned sequel, their shared drooping eyelids, subtle genetic signatures blinking in unison across the temporal divide. In these halls of power, both men navigated the treacherous waters of early legislation, Lincoln decrying slavery's expansion, while Kennedy championed labor rights and anti-communist vigilance, each forging alliances that foreshadowed their presidential mantles. The parallels deepened in their personal unions. Lincoln, at 33, wed 23-year-old Mary Todd in 1842, her vivacious spirit a counterpoint to his melancholy. Kennedy, at 36, claimed 24-year-old Jacqueline Bouvier in 1953, her elegance a beacon amid his ailments. These marriages, timed in the bloom of their 30s to women in their 20s, wove domestic threads into the political tapestry, hinting at a scripted domesticity designed to humanize the heroes while exposing vulnerabilities ripe for exploitation. Thus, the congressional chapters of 1846 and 1946 stand as twin pillars, erecting the architecture of ascent, where reincarnated resolve met the machinery of manifest destiny, the odd numeric alignment screaming of a higher orchestration. As the mid-1850s cast long shadows over a fracturing republic, 1856 emerged as a pivot of almost, when Abraham Lincoln, now a towering figure in Illinois Whig circles, vied for the vice presidential nomination at the Republican National Convention in Philadelphia on June 17th to 18th. Though he finished as the runner-up to William L. Dayton, garnering 110 votes on the first ballot, this near elevation sharpened Lincoln's national profile, positioning him as the moral compass for a party born of anti-slavery fervor. The year's terminal 56 lingered like a numeric omen, a half-formed equation awaiting completion, while Lincoln's eloquence in the preceding debates, his House-divided speech still reverberating, cemented his role as the era's reluctant prophet, his genetic frailties paling against the robust ideology he championed. 1 century onward, the identical numerals of 1956 resurfaced like a glitch in the historical simulation, ensnaring John F. Kennedy in a parallel dance of ambition at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago on August 13th to 17th. At 39, Kennedy mounted a spirited challenge for the vice presidential slot alongside Adlai Stevenson, securing a strong second-place showing with 618 delegate votes, his charisma outshining rivals like Hubert Humphrey. This brush with the second spot, echoing Lincoln's own, amplified Kennedy's senatorial stature and primed the Democratic machine for his impending leap. The 56 suffix, a deliberate timestamp in the reincarnated timeline, binding the two men's trajectories in a web of unfulfilled proximities that only heightened the drama of their ultimate ascents. These vice presidential near misses served as narrative tension builders in the grand script, moments where the Matrix teased elevation only to withhold forging resilience in the protagonists. Both emerged from these conventions not diminished but burnished, Lincoln pivoting to the 1858 senatorial race against Stephen Douglas, Kennedy solidifying his anti-Eisenhower critiques in the Senate. The synchronicity extended to their private spheres, each marriage now matured, producing children, Lincoln fathering 4, Kennedy mirroring with his own quartet, yet both families harbored the specter of loss, early deaths shadowing their hearts like premonitions of White House grief. In this chapter of suspended ambition, the universe aligned its dials. The odd repetition of 56, a Morse code from the architects of history, whispering that these souls were pawns in a larger chess game, their paths converging inexorably toward the Oval Office. The fateful numerals of 1860 materialized like a thunderhead on the horizon, culminating in Abraham Lincoln's election as the 16th president on November 6th, amid a quadrennial storm of sectional fury. With 180 electoral votes from a fractured electorate, Lincoln's Republican banner, unpledged in the South, signaled the death knell for compromise, His platform, a bulwark against slavery spread, contested fiercely in courts and counting houses, inaugurated on March 4, 1861, in a Capitol ringed by militia. Lincoln's seven-letter legacy name became synonymous with Union salvation. The year 60, a portal through which poured the blood of brothers, his drooping lids veiling eyes that saw the Republic's peril with clairvoyant clarity. Exactly 100 revolutions of the earth later, 1960 replicated the cipher with mechanical fidelity, crowning John F. Kennedy the 35th president on November 8th. His razor-thin victory, 303 electoral votes to Nixon's 219, besieged by allegations of ballot irregularities in Illinois and Texas, whispers of mafia ties and voter fraud swirling like Cold War fog. Sworn in on January 20th, 1961, amid snow-swept splendor, Kennedy's inaugural vow to bear any burden for liberty echoed Lincoln's resolve. His civil rights overtures, a modern Emancipation Proclamation in waiting, the 60 suffix, a time-stamped resurrection of the same electoral gauntlet. Kennedy's surname, 7 letters strong, resonated as a harmonic overtone to Lincoln's, the Matrix layering audio cues atop visual echoes, ensuring the reincarnated leader's triumph carried the weight of ancestral precedent. These elections were twin fulcrums, levers of leverage that catapulted both men into the maelstrom of executive power, their contested mandates badges of authenticity in a democracy's forge. Lincoln navigated Fort Sumter's cannonade. Kennedy stared down Bay of Pigs debacle, each inaugural shadowed by peril, their eloquence a shield against assassins' blades yet to fall. The numeric precision, the 7-letter seals bespoke a programmed ascent, where the simulation recycled its hero's journey, inserting civil rights crucibles as recurring motifs. In boardrooms of fate, these 60 years etched the blueprint for martyrdom, the successors' names already inscribed in invisible ink, waiting to blot the page with opportunistic ink. Upon crossing the threshold of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Abraham Lincoln and his brood encountered the White House not as sanctuary but as sepulcher, where on February 20th, 1862, 11-year-old Willie Lincoln succumbed to typhoid fever, his frail form succumbing in the dim corridors amid wartime despair. Mary Todd Lincoln, racked by grief, wandered the halls like a specter, her visions and losses compounding the presidential burden, while the full name, William Wallace Lincoln, precisely 21 letters, etched a numeric epitaph, a code for the soul's unfinished business. This tragedy, the second son lost before adolescence among 4 siblings, stripped Lincoln's domestic armor, exposing the man to the nation's fractures, his Marfan silhouette now bowed by paternal anguish. 100 years hence, in the fluorescent glare of 1963, John F. Kennedy's White House mirrored this dolorous echo when, on August 9th, newborn Patrick Bouvier Kennedy gasped his last from respiratory distress, his 21-letter moniker, Patrick Bouvier Kennedy, a verbatim replication of Willie's tally, as if the Matrix had copy-pasted the grief module into the sequel. Jacqueline Kennedy, elegant fortress cracked by sorrow, retreated into private rituals, her French fluent poise a veil over the void, paralleling Mary's own multilingual melancholy. Kennedy's 4 children, like Lincoln's, bore the brunt of 2 preteen departures, the genetic diseases shadowing father and son alike, transforming the executive mansion into a chamber of echoes where personal voids amplified national cries for justice. These White House dirges wove intimate tapestries of torment, underscoring the human scaffolding beneath the statesman's statuesque facades. Lincoln issued greenbacks to fund the Union without usurious interest, a fiscal heresy against bankers. Kennedy, emulating this audacity, signed Executive Order 11,110 on June 4, 1963, birthing silver certificates free from Federal Reserve tethers, acts of defiance that invited shadowy reprisals. The doctors attending both fallen sons bore the name Charles Taft, a nominative knot tying medical mercy to mortality, while private secretaries, John Nicolay for Lincoln, Evelyn Lincoln for Kennedy, whispered warnings unheeded, their names a swapped cipher in the conspiracy's prologue. In these halls of hollow victory, the losses crystallized the pattern, power's price paid in progeny, the odd letter counts and medical monikers beacons illuminating the rigged game where heroes bleed first. As the Civil War's maw widened in 1865, Abraham Lincoln's inner circle thickened with portents. His private secretary, John Nicolay, a name laced with Kennedy's future resonance, urging against the fateful outing to Ford's Theater on Good Friday, April 14th, sensing the air heavy with malice. Lincoln, undeterred by dreams of his own demise and the war's ebbing tide, pressed on, his Emancipation Proclamation and 13th Amendment victories a Pyrrhic laurel against the Confederacy's death throes. The week's prelude saw him in Monroe, Maryland on April 7th, a locale whose name evoked Maryland's siren call a century hence, the geographic whisper a prelude to peril, as if the simulation seeded distractions to dull the Guardian's vigilance. Centennially transposed to 1963, John F. Kennedy's aide, Evelyn Lincoln, surname a spectral nod to her predecessor, implored him to cancel the Dallas motorcade on November 22nd, her intuition clashing with the Secret Service's calculus amid a presidency besieged by Cuba's ghosts and Vietnam's vines. Kennedy, buoyed by the Civil Rights Act's impending passage, dismissed the dread, his interest-free currency edict still stinging the money changers. Mere days prior, on November 15th, he had invoked the Monroe Doctrine in speeches, but the deeper echo lay in his 1962 dalliance with Marilyn Monroe, dead by August 1962, yet her memory a Monroe nexus. The week's temporal slippage, a matrix malfunction mirroring Lincoln's Maryland sojourn. These omens, swapped in nomenclature and geography, formed a cautionary chorus. The secretary's pleas inverted echoes in the reincarnated dialogue. The veils thinned further in these premonitory passages where both leaders, eloquent bibliophiles versed in Shakespeare and the Good Book, confided visions of mortality. Lincoln's recurring sepia corpse, Kennedy's prophetic polls foretelling Dallas's doom, their advocacy for the oppressed, Lincoln's greenbacks and Kennedy's silver notes, united them as financial renegades, threats to the invisible empire of debt. The Monroe motifs, whether Maryland Hamlet or Hollywood Muse, dangled like red herrings, diverting from the true architect's cabals coveting control, priming the pumps for the successor's ascension. In this interlude of ignored auguries, the historical hologram flickered, revealing the script's annotations, warnings scripted to be waylaid, ensuring the plot's tragic pivot. Good Friday, April 14th, 1865, unfurled its scriptural irony as Abraham Lincoln, seated in Box 7 of Ford's Theater beside Mary, fell to John Wilkes Booth's .44 caliber slug at 10:15 p.m., the bullet ravaging his brain during Our American Cousin. The shot, from a Southern sympathizer's derringer, propelled Lincoln across the street to the Peterson House, where at 7:22 a.m. on April 15th, he expired, his last breath a rattle against the Republic's rebirth. Booth, three named with 15 letters, John Wilkes Booth, born 1839's cusp, fled the theater stage to a warehouse barn, slain 12 days later by Lafayette Baker's posse before trial's truth could spill. The reversal, shot in Playhouse, caught in Depository, mirrored the Matrix's love of inversion. Lincoln's head wound a seal on his legacy, his wife witness to the unraveling. November 22nd, 1963, another Friday scripted in blood, saw John F. Kennedy's Lincoln Continental, Ford-manufactured car number 7, parade through Dealey Plaza, where Lee Harvey Oswald's Mannlicher Carcano pierced his skull at 12:30 p.m., Jacqueline cradling his shattered form as the cortege raced to Parkland Hospital. Declared dead at 1 p.m., Kennedy's passing ignited global mourning. Oswald, Three named 15 letters, Lee Harvey Oswald, born 1939, fleeing the Texas School Book Depository warehouse to a Texas theater arrest, only to be felled by Jack Ruby's .38 2 days hence, silencing conspiracy's key witness. The echo chamber amplified. Shot from warehouse to theater capture, headshot beside wife, the automotive Lincoln and theatrical Ford, a nominative palindrome across the century, the assassin's births and letter counts twin barcodes of the same dark programming. These crimson crescendos, Friday's felled and headshots with spousal sentinels, etch the assassinations as ritualistic resets in the simulation's code. Both presidents, civil rights crusaders issuing debt-free dollars, threatened entrenched powers, their falls engineered to preserve the pecuniary pyramid. The reverse locales, theater to warehouse, warehouse to theater, danced a macabre minuet, while Box 7 and Car 7 tallied the same numeric toll. In the Peterson and Parkland vigils, doctors named Charles Taft bridged the eras, their hands on pulses fading in harmonic futility. The oddities cascaded. Southern assassins silenced pre-trial, their 1839 to 1939 births a centennial bookmark, ensuring the plot's principals, the Johnsons, stepped from shadow to spotlight unencumbered by interrogation. In the acrid dawn of April 15, 1865, Andrew Johnson, Southern Democrat, born December 29, 1808, six-letter first name, swore the oath in a Washington parlor, his tailor hands steady on the Bible as Lincoln's blood cooled blocks away, his senatorial savvy now commandeering the Reconstruction helm. Johnson, erstwhile Unionist from Tennessee, had been slotted as vice presidential balm to Southern wounds, his 08 birth a fiscal footnote in the century's ledger. Yet whispers abounded. His drunken inaugural, his leniency toward Confederates, suggested not grief but glee. A man positioned by puppet masters to dismantle Lincoln's radical reforms, freeing capital's chains from abolition's grip. The Greenbacks' architect slain, Johnson vetoed Freedmen's bureau bills. His ascension a coup cloaked in constitutional cloth, silencing the assassin booth to bury the banker's motive. 100 years tick later on Air Force One's blood-stained aisle at 2:38 p.m. on November 22, 1963, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Southern Democrat kin, born August 27, 1908, six-letter Lyndon, clutched the oath from Chief Justice Warren, Jacqueline's pink suit a grotesque garnish to his gleam-eyed gaze. LBJ, Texas wheeler dealer and Senate maestro, had clawed the Veep slot through arm-twisting his 08 nativity, a replicated relic. Suspicion swirled thicker than Dallas dust. Johnson's pre-assassination grumbles about JFK's slights. His Fort Worth huddles with oil barons painted him as conspirator in wait. Ruby's bullet to Oswald a hasty hush to shield the silver note saboteurs. With Kennedy's body still warm, LBJ pivoted to pass the Civil Rights Act, claiming the glory while escalating Vietnam, his war chest fattened by Federal Reserve fidelity, the assassination his ladder to unchained command. These Johnsons, birthbound by centennial brackets, Southern schemers with senatorial sheens, embodied the Matrix's villainous archetype. Heirs who profited from the protagonist's plunge, their six-letter salutes a mocking cadence. Andrew's pardons for planters echoed Lyndon's largesse to contractors, both vetoing or veering from their predecessors' egalitarian edicts, consolidating cabal control. The silencing of assassins, Booth's barn blaze, Oswald's clubroom clip, reeled in the loose ends, pre-trial terminations that screamed complicity, the Johnsons' unblinking eyes betraying foreknowledge. In this usurpations theater, the odd alignments, names, years, letters, unmasked the rigged relay where powers transfer was no happenstance but a heist. The reincarnated heroes sacrificed to sustain the simulation's shadowy overlords. From the pyres of their passings rose legacies that transcended tombs, Abraham Lincoln's martyrdom mythologizing the Union, his Gettysburg Address and 13th Amendment enshrining freedom's flame, enduring through Reconstruction's rubble to inspire generations. Andrew Johnson's sabotage notwithstanding, Lincoln's spectral influence haunted history, his debt-free dollars a dormant dynamite against usury, his civil rights crusade a seedbed for equality's bloom. The seven-letter seal of his name, the genetic ghosts in his frame, lingered as totems, the White House losses a poignant counterpoint to his preservation of the nation, his soul's script looping forward to mentor the Matrix's next iteration. John F. Kennedy's apotheosis amplified this eternal refrain, his 1,000 days birthing the Peace Corps, space race, and nuclear test ban, his slain form catalyzing the 1964 Civil Rights Act and 1965 Voting Rights Act, fruits plucked by LBJ's opportunistic hand. Kennedy's silver certificates, like Lincoln's greenbacks, challenged the monetary leviathan, his assassination ensuring their swift repeal, yet his charisma colonized culture, from Camelot's court to Moonshot's miracle. The parallels persisted post-mortem, both buried in national shrines, their wives widowed witnesses to widowhood's wanderings, Jacqueline's eternal flame atop Arlington, echoing Mary Todd's Springfield solitude, the 21-letter son's names a dirge in duplicate. In the grand calculus of coincidence, these entwined eternities defy dismissal, the numeric nexuses, 46 Congresses, 60 coronations, 08 Johnsons, 15-letter slayers, a symphony of synchronicity scoring the simulated score. Lincoln's Monroe, Maryland, mirrored Kennedy's Marilyn Monroe entanglement, distractions dangling before the daggers, while secretaries swapped surnames chanted the conspiracy's chorus. The assassinations, inversions, the heirs, hasty oaths, unveiled the cabal's calculus. Eliminate reformers to enthrone enablers, the reincarnated duos bond a breach in the veil, proving history not happenstance but hologram, their legacies the luminous proof that souls unbound by time rebel against the code, igniting awakenings that outlast the overlord's designs. As the dust of Dallas settled into the archives of 1964, the first compendiums of these curiosities surfaced. A GOP newsletter, Times Tome, cataloging the cascade of connections that pierced the veil from election echoes to assassin autographs, each datum a pixel in the portrait of predestination. Lincoln's 1865 fall and Kennedy's 1963 fade, bridged by centennial spans, revealed the reincarnation's rhythm, souls recycling to rectify unfinished symphonies, their civil rights choruses crescendoing across eras. The Matrix, in its meticulous mimicry, layered these loops with linguistic legerdemain, Ford's theater to Lincoln's Ford, ensuring the faithful few discerned the divine download, a call to dismantle the debt-based delusion both dared defy. Lyndon Johnson's Vietnam vortex and Andrew's Reconstruction retreat, twin tyrannies of expansion, underscored the successors' sinister symmetry, their power grabs greased by silenced shooters, Booth and Oswald but bit players in the banker's ballet. The oddities proliferated, both presidents' terms divisible by 20 in inauguration years, their eloquence drawn from identical wells of wisdom, the genetic diptych of diseases a double helix of destiny. These revelations rippling through songs like Buddy Starcher's 1966 ballad and scholarly scrolls summoned seekers to the simulacrum's source code, where Lincoln's log cabin birthed Kennedy's launch pad, the infinite loop, a ladder for liberation. Thus, the Lincoln-Kennedy matrix manifests as more than memory. It is manifesto, a mirrored mandate to unmask the machinations, their entwined odysseys a beacon blazing through the fog of forgetfulness. In every seven-letter syllable, every Friday's fatal flourish, resides the proof of patterned purpose, urging humanity to hack the historical hologram, sever the strings of succession, and script a sequel where heroes endure. The eternal cycle spins on, but armed with these alignments, the awakened can arrest its arc, honoring the bound souls who first broke the code, their legacies not lament, but lever for the light. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this and would like to see more, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the bell so you are notified when a new video is dropped. Until next time, uncover the truth and question the past.